Once upon a time, in a far-off land, deep in a forest that had long since died, stood a cottage made of twigs and boughs. It was here in this place of perpetual twilight, where the trees whispered the names of the dead, that 7 men made their home. They were not dwarfs. Oh no, they were pallbearers, each one bearing the weight of an ancient sorrow. Their leader, gnarled and twisted like the branches of an elm, was known only as Old Man. They had watched her for years. This girl who skipped through the undergrowth, barely a whisper brushing against their solitude. They kept watch over her for the ritual's sake, counting the days until the forest itself hummed with anticipation. For this was no ordinary girl. Her skin was the color of unripened apples, her lips red as blood, and her hair as black as the void that lay just beyond the stars. Her name was Snow, but the forest knew her as the curse, the harbinger of death, the one who would bring about the long night. They had waited centuries for her, tending the forest, keeping it alive just long enough for her to return. Now, with every rustle of leaves, every sigh of wind, they inched closer to the ritual's end. In a clearing bathed in the pale light of the ever-fading sun, a woman stood before a pool, as still and dark as a starless sky. Her face was lined with worry, etched with the passage of years spent searching for something she could not name. In her hand, she held a sliver of polished obsidian, its surface reflecting nothing but the faintest glimmer of moonlight. This was no magic mirror. Oh no, it was a liar. It fed on beauty, sapping it away until only emptiness remained. She had searched for Snow for many years, drawn to the girl like a moth to a flame, desperate to know why the mirror remained stubbornly dark, why it showed no sign of feeding. Then she learned the girl's name, and with it, a terrible truth. The mirror did not hate Snow. It had chosen her as its final gift. The queen raced through the darkening woods, her heart pounding against her ribs like a captive bird. She had heard the whispers, felt the shift in the forest, seen the gleam of moonlight on polished steel. She knew the girl was there, close, so close. She could almost taste her terror, her life essence, sweet and fresh as morning dew. The queen burst into the clearing, her eyes blazing with triumph. But the girl was gone. In her place stood the 7 men, their faces grim, their eyes filled with an ancient sorrow. "You came just as we knew you would," rasped Old Man, his voice like the grinding of stones. "You feel her fear, her life force humming just beyond your grasp. You wish to take it, to make it your own." The queen laughed, a sharp, brittle sound that echoed through the silent trees. "I don't understand." "Because you are not worthy," snarled Old Man, and the forest rose as one, coiling around the queen, squeezing the breath from her lungs, crushing the light from her eyes. She struggled against the suffocating darkness, clawing at bark, her nails scraping against wood. But the forest was strong, its roots tenacious, its branches sharp, with a final twist. It stilled her struggling, encasing her in a prison of leaves and bone. And as the first rays of dawn touched the forest floor, it fell silent, biding its time until the girl returned. Snow leaned against a moss-covered stone, her chest heaving, her eyes wide with fear. She clutched a crimson apple in her hand, its skin smooth and flawless. She had run for what felt like hours, the whispers of the forest growing fainter with every step. Finally, she had found somewhere, or perhaps someone, to hide. As she rounded a bend in the path, she saw him, a huntsman clad in leather, his face obscured by the shadow of his hood. "Please," she whispered, holding out the apple. "Please, help me." The huntsman took the apple from her, its skin cold against his palm. He turned, and for a moment, Snow saw the glint of something dark and predatory in his eye. "Don't, trust me," he said, his voice raspy, unused. "I am the forest's curse, its hunger made flesh. Do not trust me." But Snow was already lost in the intoxicating scent of pine and loam, the feel of earth beneath her feet, the sound of birdsong echoing through the ancient trees. She was home, and as the first tendrils of darkness seeped into her veins, she woke. The apple was gone, its absence leaving a phantom ache in her chest. In its place throbbed a new awareness, a power that surged through her like wildfire. Her lips curved into a smile, sharp as shattered glass, and the forest sighed, its trees rustling with anticipation. Snow was no longer the victim, she was the curse. And the queen was right, she was home.